You're listening to Season 5, Episode 21. When you're building a business, a lot of decisions come down to gut instinct. You know your vision, you know your people, and you trust yourself to make the right calls. And that confidence is part of what makes you successful. But when it comes to managing people, especially when the stakes are high, your gut isn't always enough. Hiring, discipline, termination, these aren't just day-to-day operational calls. These are decisions that impact people's livelihoods and your company culture, and, depending on how they're handled, your legal risk. And I've seen too many founders get caught off guard because they were relying on instinct alone. So, let's talk about where that gut-led approach can go wrong. You see, instinct isn't a strategy. It's a starting point, sure, but if you're hiring someone based on a hunch or letting someone go because something just doesn't feel right, well, you're leaving yourself wide open. Oh, I've seen business owners struggle trying to explain why they let someone go when they're faced with a claim. I've watched founders sink hours into recruiting only to realize too late that they never defined the role clearly or established a process to compare the candidates. And in both cases, they were confident until they weren't. You see, that's the danger of relying only on your gut. You don't know something's missing until it's already cost you time, money, legal trouble, or all of the above. You see, people decisions happen in the gray. You're rarely choosing between good and bad. It's usually between two uncertain options. And when you're in that space, emotion can creep in. Maybe someone's been underperforming, but they've been with you since the early days. Maybe you need to hire quickly, but you don't have time to vet properly. Maybe someone's behavior is off, but you can't quite put your finger on it. And these are exactly the kinds of situations where instinct can lead you to move too fast or not fast enough because you don't have anything grounding your decision. You see, one of the biggest red flags that I see is the I'll know it when I see it mindset. When expectations aren't clear, well then decisions are harder. If your team doesn't know what good performance looks like or what behaviors are acceptable, well, you'll constantly find yourself reacting to problems instead of preventing them. And when issues come up, you won't have a roadmap. You'll be left guessing whether your response is fair, whether it's consistent, or whether you're just making an exception because it's easier. And the fallout from that isn't just legal, it's cultural. Your team starts to notice when standards shift depending on the day or the person. They can see when someone gets extra chances while others get called out right away. And that erodes trust, and it makes it harder for you to lead with authority because authority without consistency starts to look like favoritism. Now, I want to be clear. Structure doesn't kill agility. I'm not telling you to build a huge HR department or adopt a bunch of bureaucratic policies. What I'm saying is that having a few foundational systems, things like job descriptions, offer letters, onboarding templates, or basic disciplinary processes, that gives you guardrails. It means you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you need to take action. It gives you a clearer way to communicate expectations and hold people accountable. These tools aren't about slowing you down. They're about helping you move faster with confidence because when the moment comes and you need to make a hard call, you've already done the thinking. You know what your policies say. You've got documentation to back you up. You're not trying to remember what you said last time or hoping no one challenges your decision. You're operating with clarity, and your team can feel that. I'm also going to challenge the idea that going with your gut means you're being authentic. Now, I get it. None of us wants to become the kind of leader who hides behind rules, but authenticity and accountability can coexist. In fact, the more you define your leadership values and build systems that reflect them, well, the more you create an atmosphere where everyone knows what to expect. And that's what earns respect. That's what gives your team stability. The truth is, your instincts are valuable. You've built something real by trusting your gut, but instincts are just the beginning. When you layer in structure, when you pair that gut feeling with guidance, you become a better leader who makes thoughtful, defensible, and people-centered decisions. And that's the kind of leadership that your business and your team deserves. So the next time you feel that tug in your gut, take a beat. Ask yourself, what's backing this up? Do I have the documentation I need? Am I being consistent with what I've said and done before? Have I protected the business and respected the person? Now, if the answer is yes, that's great. You're leading from a solid place. But if it's not, that's your signal to slow down, get support, and make sure the next move is the right one. And by the way, if you could use some support in that area, well, that's why I designed the HR Simple Start membership. Most of the entrepreneurs that I work with don't want to become HR experts. They just want to do the right thing without second guessing themselves. And HR Simple Start gives you the checklists, templates, and policy tools to stop guessing and start leading. No matter if you're making your first hire, documenting performance concerns, or navigating an employee's exit, it walks you through what matters, so you don't have to figure it all out from scratch. I'll go ahead and put a link for more information in the show notes. Your gut can guide you, but don't let it lead alone. You've got too much riding on these decisions to wing it.